Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the Puritan and we get to hear from George Pye-board today to wrap up Act 2, Scene 1. So George Pye-board at this point is disguised as a fortune teller, and he had his friend Skirmish disguise himself as a conjurer because the two of them are both going to try to scam Lady Plus, and they're also going to try to get Corporal Oath out of prison. And in terms of trying to scam Lady Plus, at the beginning of Act 2, Scene 1, Moll was visited by her suitor, but then they went to hide when Lady Plus and Sir Godfrey came outside, and Godfrey was like, you know, you could get married, there's some really good suitors that you could choose from, and she's like, no, I'll never get married again. And then the three suitors show up and she has to sort of fend them off a little bit, and once she's gotten rid of all of them, then Pye-board comes in disguised as a fortune teller, and she's like, oh, another suitor? And he's like, no, I'm not a suitor, but I can tell you sort of what's going on. He's like, you have sworn to never get married, and Moll actually really wants to get married. And so we're all like, oh, he knows things, he knows stuff. And he's like, yeah, and you know, in order to prove my sort of divination stuff, I can tell you that your husband's brother is going to lose something. Somebody is going to die on your door, and then Lady Plus and Frank are going to run naked, crazy through the streets, and Moll is going to be stricken dumb. And they're all like, no. And he's like, well, but after these first two things that happen, and also to save your husband from purgatory, like, if you believe me that this is a thing, the way that you can save your husband from purgatory and the way that you can avoid running through the streets naked and becoming mute is if Frank and Lady Plus get married and Moll swears to stay single forever. So none of the women are happy about this, and they all go off their various ways to complain, and also to tell Sir Godfrey, because he should be now expecting something bad to be happening to him sometime soon. So once everybody else has left the stage, Pye-board has a moment alone, and he says, so all this comes well about yet. I play the fortune teller as well as if I had a witch to my grandam. For by good happiness, being in my hostess garden, which neighbors the orchard of the widow, I laid the whole of mine ear to a hole in the wall, and heard him make these vows, and speak these words, upon which I wrought these advantages. And to encourage my forgery the more, I may now perceive them in a natural simplicity, which will easily swallow an abuse, if any covering be over it. And, to confirm my former presage to the widow, I have advised old Peter Skirmish, the soldier, to hurt Corporal Oath upon the leg. And in that hurry, I'll rush amongst him, and instead of giving the corporal some cordial to comfort him, I'll pour into his mouth a potion of a sleepy nature, and make him seem as dead. For the which, the old soldier being apprehended and ready to be borne to execution, I'll step in and take upon me the cure of the dead man, upon pain of dying the condemned's death. The corporal will wake at his minute when the sleepy force hath wrought itself, and so shall I get myself into a most admired opinion, and under the pretext of that cunning, beguile as I see occasion. And if that foolish Nicholas St. Tantlings keep true time with the chain, my plot will be sound, the captain delivered, and my wits applauded among scholars and soldiers forever. So he's very proud of himself. He thinks that this is sort of a mwahaha, I love it when a plan comes together sort of monologue. He's sharing his entire plan and how proud he is of himself that he's going to make all of this work. He's like, I'm doing the fortune teller thing really well, but really the way that I did it is I just eavesdropped on everything that they were talking about, and that's how I knew that Moll wants to get married and the other two didn't, so that's how I could play with them in that respect. So, and he's like, to build on this further, since he predicted that somebody was going to die on Lady Plus's door, he's having Peter Skirmish injure Corporal Oath. And when Pye-board goes to help, instead of giving him like medicine, he's going to give him a sleeping potion, which is going to make him appear dead. And then Skirmish is going to be like toted off like he's going to get executed, but right at the right moment, Pye-board is going to step in. He's going to wake up the corporal oath, and then everybody would be like, oh, he's not dead, and he's a miracle worker, and oh, this is great, and blah, blah, blah. So everybody will be very, very pleased with Pye-board, the fortune teller, the magician, all of that sort of thing. And then he's like, and then I just gotta wait for Nicholas to do his bit with the chain, and then everything's gonna be fine, and everything's gonna work out, and everybody's going to admire me for the rest of my days. La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. And that's the end of Act 1, Scene 2. So, do you think it's all gonna go to plan? Come on back tomorrow for more as we start to find out. Mwah.